Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. I wanted to pop in. I'm going to be doing a series of videos for you over the next couple of days related to my most recent social media post, which is all about the concept of ownership, especially in our current climate in the world today with a lot of things going around, right? There's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of information coming at us. I think the most important thing that we can do, the number one key to true health in our homes, is the concept of taking true self-agency over what we're able to do and what we're able to impact within our communities, within the four walls of our home, within our family. So I'm going to be chatting every single day for the next few days or so on certain questions that I posted that we're going to be pondering and diving into a little bit. So today's question is, am I modeling preparedness or panic? And the reason why this is a topic that I wanted to start with is because I think it sort of sets the tone for us as we begin to shift and make some little adjustments and changes along the way as we learn more things and as things shift and change over the coming days and weeks, okay? So the reason why I kind of even thought of this question in the beginning was because I went to the grocery store and from the moment I got in the parking lot, I could feel like this palpable tension, right? This like panic, this craze, there was like this frenetic energy happening. And so I took a moment in my car before I walked inside and I thought, okay, what can I do? What small impact can I make on the people around me in this community, in this grocery store, to be able to shift the energy by just a little bit? So I made a commitment to myself that I was going to smile and make eye contact with every single person that I could that came into my field of vision. And while I think a few people thought I was a little crazy, a little off my rocker, I could actually like physically see the shift in some of these people's body language. They went from like ripping their carts and kind of walking around in this crazy sort of fashion to this more like relaxed kind of a body language position. And I got a lot of smiles back and a lot of hellos and a lot of head nods. And it felt really good to be able to spread a little bit more calm and peace and love out into the universe, even in that small way. So I want to remind you that there's so much that we can control. There's so much that we do have power over, even within, you know, the four walls of our home, as we kind of move through this unexpected time. So something I want you to think about is, what are you consuming and what are you sharing in terms of media? So if you are constantly sort of inundated with a lot of these panicky, fear-based kind of media outlets, right, with whatever that looks like for you, and you know, everyone has their own way that they like to be informed. Just be really self-aware of what that is doing to your energy. So if you wake up and the first thing you do is turn the news on in the morning and you notice that the tone for your day is kind of like this frenetic pace or this sort of crazed, panicky sort of feeling around it, maybe tomorrow when you wake up, you give yourself 10 minutes to just relax and sip your coffee or turn on some classical music or take a quick walk with your dog before you start consuming some of the fear and some of the panic. That way we can show up in a way that is a little bit more prepared, a little more calm, and we can really truly be models for the people who share walls with us, the people in our communities and our jobs, things like that. So be aware of what you're consuming. And then with that, how is your energy when you're interacting with people? So there were a couple people I saw at the grocery store who I could tell their energies were so intense. And so I would try to smile or say hello or kind of do the head nod, you know, and I got glares as they shot back, or they were like maneuvering their cart really quickly around me. So be mindful of how the energy that you're carrying with you throughout the day is impacting other people in your space, because that can do a lot for the culture and the energy of our planet as a whole right now. So if you feel like the energy from the media that you're consuming is causing you to show up in a way that you don't like, that is propagating more panic rather than this sense of preparedness and calm and peace, maybe find ways that you can shift out of that, okay? So that's a really good tool. Also, something else to really help us to shift into this sense of like calm as we kind of go out into the world and begin to prepare can be our essential oils. That's a really great tool. I love using Adaptive. The new Adaptive blend is awesome. It's a different combination of essential oils, and it's really, really calming and relaxing to the central nervous system, okay? So if you're feeling like you're kind of operating at this fight or flight, panicky sort of energy right now, what I want you to do is grab a grounding oil. Maybe that's Adaptive. Maybe for you that's Balance. Maybe it's frankincense, whatever essential oil that you have on hand. Do a drop in your palm, rub your palms together, do a deep inhale. Maybe add a little bit more to the back of your neck and shoulders, and just see what that does to shift your state. If you don't have essential oils yet, hopefully you know by now that I'm your girl. Reach out to me. I'm happy to get you started on that as we kind of move through this next adventure here in our culture today. If you are stocking up, ask yourself, how can I stock up in a way that promotes preparedness and not panic? So for example, when I went to the grocery store, I did stock up on a couple of things in case we have to be in our home for 2+ weeks. So I got some extra canned beans. I got a few extra bags of frozen vegetables. I got a couple extra boxes of organic pasta that I could throw a meal together with, right? But I'm not necessarily overloading my cart with like tons of processed food that I don't ever normally eat, or 25 pounds of potatoes that I could never get through, right? So just sort of be mindful of also what you're stocking up on, because the reality is the people in our lives are going to see that and feel that energy even if they're not with you, right? So if you're shopping with your kids and all of a sudden you've got, I saw a woman who had 3 grocery carts full of processed food the other night, and I could just feel her anxiety and her intensity and the panic, and she had all these kids around her, right, who were also just being totally wackadoodle crazy town, because they're feeding off of that energy. And that's just kind of what we do as humans. It's very human nature to feed into other energies of other people. So some things that you might want to stock up on, like frozen veggies, or maybe organic canned soups. Dog food is a big one that I do recommend if you are going to stock up on something and you have a pet. Cat food. Make sure you're not forgetting your fur babies. Again, do you need 8 bags of dog food? Probably not. Should you maybe have 1 extra just in case you're stuck in your house for 2 weeks and you don't have a way to go and get it? For sure. I think that would be a smart move. So maybe trying to find a balance in between the 2 extremes, right? The other thing I wanted to share with you, and I've done a copious amount of research on this, but please know that I am not a doctor. I don't work for the CDC or disease prevention, but I have done a lot of research on this because it's a very hot topic. I saw quite a few people in the grocery store last night who were wearing masks. And it's important that I think people need to understand that masks are really there if you are already sick to stop the spread of pathogens. So this particular bug that we're dealing with is not necessarily airborne. We're going to pick it up by droplets. So we're going to pick it up by someone coughing or sneezing into their hand, touching a surface that we then touch, and then, you know, touch our own mucous membranes, our eyes, our nose, our mouth, and transmit it that way. So if you are a healthy person, wearing a mask is not necessarily going to prevent you from getting this bug. What it is going to maybe stop you from doing is from touching your face, touching your mucous membranes. So if you have a hard time kind of controlling that and being mindful, then by all means, wear yourself a mask. But if you're wearing a mask because you think it's somehow going to stop this bug from like entering your airspace, that's simply just not how it works. Unless you typically stand, you know, 6 inches in front of people and they're like literally spitting into your mouth, which I really, really hope is not happening for you. So if you're wearing that mask out of panic and not preparedness, you can go ahead and leave that at home if you're a healthy individual, right? Same thing goes with touching surfaces. So I saw a few people who had like a thin little tissue, and they were going around touching everything with a tissue. That's not going to help you in this particular case, right? If you are really, really worried about, you know, getting pathogens on your hands and you want to stop that, you're going to need to wear those heavy duty blue latex gloves like they wear in medical institutions. Most of us are not going to walk around doing our daily life like that. So the best thing you can do is just be mindful of touching your face. And when you get home, make sure you wash your hands with hot soap and water. Also, a really good alternative is just to have hand sanitizer with you. I love the On Guard hand sanitizer. It's proven to be 99% effective against all surface germs, and all of the key ingredient in here that makes it so powerful is the On Guard blend, as well as alpha alcohol. So you could totally make this at home on your own with some alcohol. If you need the recipe, let me know. I might actually post it later on tonight, so you could do a DIY recipe. If you have any essential oils that have some, you know, antimicrobial, antiviral properties, that would be really helpful. But of course, On Guard is my favorite. So that's good in a pinch, but honestly, good old-fashioned soap and water is great too. So I just wanted to start spreading little messages of different ways that we can kind of take ownership over our health in the coming days and weeks and maybe months. We're not quite sure as we move through this interesting time together. Go out there, remember to be kind to one another and to yourselves. Stay healthy. I love you. Mwah! And I'll check in soon tomorrow for more tips. Bye.